All right, I am Dan Clark with Upscale Wood Finishing, and I'm here with Marino and his brother. What's your name?
Gus.
Gus. And he did a fabulous job taping this. You can see everything's taped. They sanded everything with 220 and went over it really good. They cleaned it. What'd you guys clean it with?
We used
TSO?
TSP.
TSP. So that cleans all the wax and grease and everything. So what we're going to do is we're going to change this kitchen. As you can see, I'd like to show you in the light. From this color here to this color here using dye stains. And it's going to be really rich when it's done. You can see how boring and plain it is. And we're going to make it look like really rich furniture. All right, we just wanted to show you a little bit more about the taping of the kitchen. And as you can see here, we use the paper and tape combination with these easy maskers. And they're real nice. They put the tape and tape around at the same time. And we just make sure it's right on that edge there. Just make sure it's nice and tight. And we go around the whole cabinet and seal it in, as you can see. And then we just tape it down. We don't want any loose edges, because when we spray, the air will blow this and pull this down. So we always tape any loose edges like that. Appliances, you want to be real careful. You want to be careful not to scratch these. It's real easy if you have a new guy to pull his thing and then pull it and put a big scratch. Just come with this edge is a razor. So it's real easy if he's not paying attention to just pull and just go like that on an appliance or a refrigerator. Same thing. He's over here and he's looking over here and he pulls it and he goes down the side of the fridge. You'll have to buy a refrigerator. So you want to be careful with apprentices that they just keep this away from anything that's appliances. And then we want to talk about these counters. This is what I always use for the counters. This is a thick paper that you can get at Sherwin-Williams, Home Depot. It's about $10 a roll. And this is what I use for the floors, the countertops. As you can see, it's pretty wide. It's probably 3 foot, 3.5 foot, but it's fairly wide, it's fairly thick. It'll actually absorb. If you spill something on the floor, it'll pretty much absorb it or protect it, whereas the masking paper won't. So all these countertops were done with this heavy paper. I usually just roll it out like this. I tape it and then I take my razor blade and cut it. But this is a great surface paper for floor. It covers a lot of territory at the same time. So countertops, floor, wide paper. Angela likes to use the smaller roll, the 6-inch for the interior. It works better for her. And it's a inch roll or 3/4 of an inch roll, and then 1.5 inches for tacking everything down. And let's see. And then as far as the plastic, we use that Sherwin-Williams plastic. We use the 12 by 400. And it's 12 foot long. And it pretty much will seal, as you can see behind me. We're going to seal this room off from the rest of the house. We're actually, we leave this like this for the homeowner so they can come in at night. This was taped yesterday, and if you notice, we leave the refrigerator and we leave the microwave open. We just started taping that, but when we go to spray, we take these down like this and we completely seal in the room from floor to ceiling so nothing goes in the house. This is completely airtight. And then we put a fan in the window and we blow out the window. And if you notice up above, I like to use the 12-inch paper, and I came out one here. If I was spraying color, which I'm not, this is just a clear coat, I would put actually another paper out. But because it's clear, it's not going to hurt anything. But always on the side, 2 12-inch. Here's the 12-inch paper. As you can see, it's quite a bit wider than the small one. So we always put 2. We always put one here And then we put another one. Always two. And again, make sure all your deals are taped down. The other thing we do is we sometimes put a border tape. We put this on first because a lot of homeowners have new paint on the wall. And the problem is if you have only one deal of tape, when you spray your lacquer on the tape, sometimes it etches into that paint and pulls it off. So we always do double. We put a piece of this and then we put this. You don't have to, but we do. On everything we do a border all around all the edges, and then we come back and then we put a piece of paper. And like I said, minimum two out, because as you're spraying color, it'll paint lines on the wall. When I'm toning this with a cherry or red or whatever, it's bouncing up here and it'll actually paint a line along that. And what you don't want to do is have to paint somebody's house that's just been painted. So it's better just to use a little extra tape and do a really nice job that way.
Show them the floor.
And there's the floor, as you can see.
Border tape.
You can see the border tape right there on the floor. We went around it and put a piece around the border, and then we'll run our other tape up to it. We have to put a piece there still, but we make sure that's all bordered real nice and completely covered. The fridge will be completely covered with this plastic. Same thing. We'll pull out a big old piece of plastic. We'll cut it, completely wrap the fridge, because we don't want any dust on their stuff. We don't want dust landing on this. And usually we ask the homeowner to get all this out of here. And the reason we tape this like this instead of all the way to the back wall is because she didn't take down all of her stuff up there. They're an older couple, so they left all of their knickknacks and stuff up there, so I just said that's okay. And I stuck the paper to here into the ceiling and then one out. Like I said, it's just a clear coat. But normally we ask them to get rid of all this stuff, but we didn't. This one we'll just cover it with plastic. And that. All right, I want to just talk a little bit about this island, why this tarp is up here. This is not a normal cloth tarp. This is sort of a rubber covered tarp. It's a leak-proof tarp, they call it. And you can see I double it over so that it's not just one, but it's two. But it's actually it's a rubber tarp. It's a leak-proof tarp because when you start mixing your colors, your different colors, you're going to set this on here. This is granite, and granite is porous, and granite will show stains. So when I start opening this stuff up to mix, and I splash a little bit, that can actually sink down into the granite and cause a spot. So I always, when I'm working with someone's granite and I want to work up high and I want to mix my stuff here, I always put down a nice rubberized tarp that you can get at Sherwin-Williams. They're not that expensive. They're maybe $5 more, maybe $20, $15, but it protects you and you want to be protected. And the same with my mixing down here. That's another rubber tarp. And like I said, whenever there's a case for a spill, or I'm mixing lacquer thinner and I'm pouring like this, you can see it can drip. So you don't want that to drip on their wood floor because you may end up refinishing a wood floor. Everything needs to be protected just real carefully. So that's why this is tripled over. I've got it, there's several layers here. You really only need one, but there's 1, 2, 3, 4, there's like 5 layers. I don't want any chance of anything dripping through that.
Granite.
And again, this is all granite. Oh, this edge here I wanted to talk about. A lot of people are very, very particular about their granite. And so what we do is when they put on new granite, they expect you to protect it even under here. So we use this wide tape and we put it under here, underneath the granite. so that it's completely protected. And we'll put some paper along here too, our easy masker. Same thing. We'll come under here. And I'm just giving you a quick idea. But, so, like so. And we'll just want to make sure that that granite is protected even under the lip. And same as here, all over the kitchen. One little piece of tape, like so. And we go around the whole kitchen that way. All the way around here, here, and just make sure, because some people will make you clean it. And lacquer is very hard to get off once it's dry. So you might have left and I'll come back and say I saw some color when I was sitting at my kitchen table, or when I reached down to get something, you sprayed all my granite. So you want to make sure that there's just a little piece of tape. Like I said, it's $1 something, $2 a roll. It takes a few pieces just to go around the whole kitchen and make sure that the granite is covered. So we got a ½ cup of brown Sherwood dye stain from Sherwin-Williams concentrates. They're concentrated. We got a ½ cup, as you can see. And we're going to put this ½ cup in here. That might be enough for 2 kitchens, honestly.
We'll save the rest.
Yes. And that's why I usually get gallon cans with lids. And now we're going to add a little bit of yellow. What is this, 1/4 cup?
Yes.
We'll just put a 1/4 cup of yellow in here, just to say we did. And you don't have to worry about measuring this exact,
Right.
because you're going to be changing the color. Okay, and now I need some red. So this is my red. Let's make sure that's red. We'll just put like that much.
Okay.
It's about a half of a, just a little bit.
So that would be 1/8 of a cup.
Yeah,
It will be very red.
okay, yes. So we'll just sit this in here. Be sure when you're mixing these dyes they have something down in here like this so it doesn't leak. Put your caps back on, because if you spill, you know, when you knock it over, you're working on one. Be sure to cover these back up. Now the first thing you want to do is add lacquer thinner to your mix. So we'll get rid of that. I'm going to add about a ½ gallon of lacquer thinner. Do you want to film inside here? Okay, thank you there.
So that's about a half pail. No, not even a half pail.
Yeah,
2 kitchens worth.
that's 2 kitchens worth. Isn't that crazy?
Yes.
So these will go a long way. These are about $70, $80 a quart, but they'll last you forever. And you can use this for over and over and over. When we're done with this kitchen, as you can see how it's got a little red to it?
Yeah, because the neighbors might like the same color, so then
Absolutely.
you can actually see.
And you can go with 2 shades lighter, darker, whatever. Okay. All right, we got that mixed up. Okay, so what we got here is Becker Chroma. It's 15-degree sheen, and you want to make sure that you stir this up, because in the bottom is where all the flattening paste is, and you want to make sure that's all stirred up in there. There'll be a lot of it down there. You see that, Marino?
Yes.
The flattener. So you want to just go back and forth. See all that flattening paste? Mm-hmm. That's what controls the sheen. So you just want to just stir that back and forth, get it all off the bottom.
So can you tell me a little trick about where the people say we want it a little bit more shiny, or how you just don't stir it? You know, stir it as much.
If people want it shinier before you stir it, I'm sorry. If they want it shinier, you pour out all the clear off the top. You stir up the flattening paste and take out a cup, and it'll be 25-degree sheen. If you want it flatter, before you stir it, you take out a gallon and then stir it up.
Oh,
Because it's all clear on top.
Right. Oh yeah. I was gonna say only this particular product, but no, all the products. That
All the
makes sense.
products, same way.
That makes, yeah.
You know, like if say you're on a job and somebody says I want a little shinier, our next bucket. You know what I'm saying? You pour the clear off the top.
That's a good trick.
Yeah, you get the flattening agent on the bottom, you stir it up first, and take the cup out of there.
I thought there was something special about this particular one.
You know what's special about it? It dries almost instantly. That's what you'll love. There's nothing like this one right here, nothing. And it's strong, it's strong. You can't strip it off. In 2 weeks, you can't use paste stripper. And that's what you want to use, because you don't want this stuff chipping or anything like that, right?
You want the furniture look,
That's right.
just as we have promised.
Yep. Do you see those samples? Do you see feel like you could scratch them?
Oh.
You don't, do you? Okay. So what we'll do, so that's pretty good. So what we'll do is, again, make sure you're on a leak-proof deal, leak-proof tarp. Take a gallon, pour it in here. Good. Okay, and we'll just put a little bit of, we got some thinner, a little bit of thinner. We'll put maybe a quart of thinner. Does that sound good?
Yeah. To a gallon, right.
Yeah. Oh, jeez. Get a little rag for me.
I got it.
Okay. Sorry about that. Yeah, beautiful. Okay. Then we'll put this in here.
Give it a good stir.
Yep. Stir it up good. This over here.
You want me to close that?
Yeah, we just set it on. That's all. Okay.
So you call that the bong, Dan?
Yep.
Bong into
The
the.
bong in, we got a quart in there of thinner. You can put more, less, it don't matter. You don't want the first coat to be like real heavy. It's a light, quick coat. Okay, now we need to plug in the compressor.
Right here.
Okay? See if it'll run off a deal.
Yeah, we know three-way.
Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna match these up now, but we always have to sand. You always have to sand a little bit. We got the 220 grit. And that's it. This is the back side of a door. It's kind of close to this color, so we'll get a pretty good representation. We'll dust this off a little bit. Yep, Marino's ahead of me. Okay, now hold that a minute. Now what we want to do, I don't know if we need to do this. This is okay, I'm going to blow my color through. So, you know how to work these, Marino? You got a valve here?
Yep.
Go through there real good.
Give it a good stir.
You want to say it for the sake of others that don't know?
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Acting out.
Okay, we'll turn it off. So anyway, we just want to make sure that circuitry is strong enough to run the compressor, and sometimes you have to change it from one circuit to another. This one might be a different amperage than the other one, so you just move them around till you find one that works.
Right, just like as we noticed.
Yep.
Yeah, I actually didn't know that. I
Yeah,
never knew that.
and plugging it in direct will always do better than
Yeah,
extension. Okay, so I always turn my air off and then I blow this through. Okay.
Oh, you don't need this. No.
So what we want to do is give this a quick clear coat. Everything always gets a clear coat. One little wet coat. Everything gets a clear coat.
Why is that, Dr. Dane?
Because you can't see the color until you put a clear coat. So